And again. I want to create a safe space for her as soon as possible and show her that she's surrounded by many trustworthy people who care about her.
Where are you? Why aren't you home?
Getting groceries now. Why? Do you need anything?
No, just curious where you've been. Did you see Jennifer's announcement on Facebook?
Oh yeah, I saw. The baby is beautiful and I'm happy for her and Tom.
Isn't she glowing in all the photos? They look so happy. I'm happy for them.
She does look very happy. I'm sure she is going to be a wonderful mother.
Her mother tells me she's already adjusting so well to motherhood.
That's wonderful to hear. I'll get her a card or something while I'm out.
So, you know what that made me think? Seeing her newborn? When are you guys going to make me a grandmother? What is the deal with you guys? Why aren't you pregnant yet? She got married after you and James, and look how blessed they are already. She is 2 years younger, too.
Yeah, that is good for them.
Don't you think it's about time you guys start planning?
Everyone's journey is different.
When are you planning to give me grandchildren? Jennifer managed it in her first year of marriage. Why can't you?
Well, we would love to have a baby, but these things take time.
Jennifer didn't need time. It didn't take them much.
Every couple is different, Karen. Please don't push me on this.
Well, every couple is different. Don't you think it's been enough time for you two? Maybe you should talk to Jennifer. Maybe she can give you some advice.
I don't think that would help.
It's been 2 years since you got married. Is there anything wrong with you? There must be something. I don't understand why you can't just get pregnant. Have you seen a doctor yet?
We did. James and I both got tested. Everything's normal. They also don't know why we haven't conceived yet.
Normal doesn't mean good enough. Have you seen a specialist? Not just a doctor, but a specialist. My friend Helen's daughter went to 3 different doctors before finding out what was wrong.
We've been to 2 different fertility specialists already.
And what did they say?
Like I said, we were told everything's good and normal. They suggested we keep trying naturally for now.
That's not good enough. You need to be more proactive about this. You can't just wait around. It's been too long and you are not getting any younger.
We're following medical advice. Stress can affect fertility too, so please stop comparing me with everyone.
Are you saying I'm stressing you out? I just want grandchildren.
I understand that, but pressuring us or comparing us to other couples doesn't help.
Pressure? You don't know what pressure is. I had James at 22.
Times were different back then.
Well, it may be, but it's not like you have a job. You just lay around the house all day. You are pretty lazy, and I don't know why James had to marry such a woman. I wish I could trade you for literally any other daughter-in-law.
You can't trade your family.
Obviously, I'm just saying how fed up I am with you.
Please calm down. Like I said, we've been tested and everything's fine. Children are a blessing. We just have to be patient. We are hopeful.
My friend's daughter works full-time and manages to have children. You don't have a job nor kids.
I told you this long ago. I have a job and I still work. And that's wonderful for her to manage everything, but it's not a competition. Honestly, I wish you'd stop comparing me to everyone else.
I'll stop comparing when you give me something to be proud of.
Having children isn't something we can control. We're okay with where we are right now.
Are you even trying? Maybe you're doing something wrong.
We're following all the doctor's recommendations.
Maybe you should see the doctor Helen's daughter saw. He seems to know what he's doing.
No, we trust our current medical team.
Well, it's clearly not working. Maybe if you weren't so lazy about everything else, you'd be more successful at this too.
That's not how fertility works.
I got pregnant with James right away. Maybe it runs in the family, and you're the problem.
Like I said, the doctors already confirmed both James and I are healthy.
Doctors can be wrong. I just want what's best for my son. He deserves to be a father, and I deserve to be a grandmother. I have waited too long for it.
James and I both want children. It will happen when it happens. You just need to be patient.
It's been 2 years, though. How much longer do you expect me to wait?
However long it takes. We can't force this. It's out of our hands.
Well, Jennifer didn't need to wait at all.
Please stop mentioning Jennifer. Everybody is different, and I am not her.
Maybe if you spent less time on your phone and more time trying to conceive.
Using my phone has nothing to do with fertility, and I use my phone for work.
Oh, whatever. That is not a job. No one makes good money like that. Ugh, everything about you frustrates me. This is not what I signed up for. You're not the daughter-in-law I wanted for my James.
The business world has changed a lot. I can still work and make a living just using my phone. If you don't believe me, I manage my entire business through my phone and laptop.
I don't buy that. A real business needs an office building.
Not anymore. Most things are digital now. It's 2024.
What do you do anyway?
I've tried explaining it before, but you never listen. You never care to know what I actually do.
I just think you are playing games or on your social media. I bet you call that work.
No, like I said, I run my business. Just so you know, many successful companies are completely remote now.
In my day, we had to commute to work like normal people. So I have a hard time believing you are working from your phone. All I see is you staying home all day.
You can absolutely work from a phone these days. I run a legitimate business. I have employees and everything.
Virtual employees aren't real employees.
They are just as real as office workers.
Ha! Even if you are working, it's probably just some pocket money gig. That's not real work. When I say work, I mean a real job, with a real company paying you a real salary.
Yeah, but my business generates real income, more than some people.
If you make so much money, why don't you have an office?
Because I don't need to. Most businesses are moving away from offices now.
Why don't you guys have a bigger place then?
Because James wanted to stay close to family.
First of all, a real businesswoman would have her own office space.
As I stated before, many successful companies are fully remote.
Oh, so you live with us because he wants to? Don't blame this on my son. He wouldn't want a wife who sits around all day.
By running the business on my own, I can manage work schedule and still work even if I get pregnant now. I can make sure everything is good while I'm away and to be in control still.
At least that would be honest work.
Running my own business is honest work.
You're not getting pregnant anyway. Instead of lounging around all day, you should be out working.
I already told you I am working. Everything's online now. You just need to understand time is different now.
Tapping on your phone isn't work. If you're so successful, where's your business card?
Everything's digital now. We use websites instead.
What a joke! Then where's all this money you're supposedly making?
I invest it back into the business. That's how companies grow.
Real businesses have paper receipts.
We use digital documentation now too.
I know James is the only one trying here. My poor son, working so hard to support a freeloader who claims she's not a freeloader. You have excuses for everything I point out. It is ridiculous.
I contribute financially to this household. You just don't see that.
By doing what? Playing with your phone all day?
You really don't understand modern business, do you?
I understand real work when I see it.
Just because work is different now doesn't make it fake.
And your attitude, the nerve of you! I feel so sorry for my son having to live with someone like you. And I feel sorry for myself, too. I deserve a better daughter-in-law. You are so hard to live with. You give me so much stress.
You're the one who insisted on living with us. You practically forced the living arrangement. We did not ask you.
Because I thought you'd be different. I thought you'd be a proper wife.
Okay then, what's your definition of a proper wife? Could you please explain what I'm missing?
Someone who works a real job or someone who can give me grandchildren. Either one. I didn't know you'd turn out to be such a worthless wife. I thought you'd both be working, having a baby, and I'd help with childcare sometimes. But nothing's going according to plan.
Nothing is going according to your plan, not ours.
You're ruining everything.
I apologize if I've disappointed you. I am sorry I am not a good enough of a daughter-in-law to you.
Your apologies mean nothing when you keep lying about working. Do something beneficial at least.
I'm not lying. You just refuse to understand what I do. Just because I don't leave the house to go to work doesn't mean I don't. I still make a living, and James and I are both happy. That is what matters.
A proper daughter-in-law would have given me grandchildren by now.
You can't force these things to happen. We would love to have children, but again, we are good with where we are right now. It will happen when it happens.
Seriously, it's like everything about you is wrong. I warned James not to marry you. He should have listened to me.
Why do you hate me so much? Is it because I only have a high school diploma? You think you're better than me? I have done nothing to you. And you think I'm beneath you because my family was poor?
I mean, isn't that the truth? You don't have a degree, you don't have a decent job, and you are still not giving me a grandchild after 2 years. I had James, and I worked a real job to support my family, not pretend phone jobs.
Like I said, my work is just as real as any other job. Just because you don't understand something doesn't make it fake.
You didn't even get a proper education, and that's why you're such a failure. Even if you did get pregnant, I don't know if you could raise a child properly. You need to know how the world is and have common sense to raise a child. I don't think you got what it takes.
You don't get to judge my parenting abilities. I know I'm a good person, and I will be a great mother when I have my own. Just because I don't have a degree doesn't mean I'm not good enough to be a mother. You really shouldn't judge people like that.
I've raised a successful son. What have you done? I doubt you will make a good mother.
How could you possibly know that?
I know because I have more life experience than you. I'm better at spotting losers, and it's obvious you are one. You are too lazy, and I don't think you can do it well. Parenting is hard enough. You can't be lazy.
Well, you sure love calling me lazy, huh? It's 2024, and I can use my phone to work and run my business. I bring income this way and can still take care of household stuff. I know I'm doing okay, and I hope I get to show you that you were wrong someday.
I wish you would prove me wrong right now. All I know is I am not a grandmother.
Either way, the baby will come when it comes. Please be patient.
Patient? While you pretend to work and fail to give me grandchildren?
I already told you your constant criticism doesn't help anyone.
I'm trying to help my son see the truth. I don't understand what he sees in you. He doesn't benefit from having you in his life at all.
I don't understand why you're so angry all the time. I haven't done anything to you, and if anything, I have been nothing but good to you.
Because you're ruining my son's life with your lies. By the way, I heard James is going on another business trip next month. This one's supposed to be the longest yet. Looks like it'll just be you and me for a while.
Yes, he'll be gone for a while. It's going to be about 6 months.
6 months? That long? What kind of company needs him gone that long?
It's an important project for his company. They need him there, and we need to support him. This will be good for his career, so we are taking the opportunity.
But 6 months? That's not a business trip. That's practically moving away.
Yes, I know, right? I feel the same way. We will miss him for sure.
He must be desperate to get away from you.
That's not true. We discussed this together.
Did he really choose this, or are you pushing him away?
This was his company's decision. Why would I even push him to go away? That is nonsense.
This house won't survive 6 months of your laziness.
I maintain this house just fine.
Did you even try to convince him to stay?
Of course I did, but this is important for his career. We can still call and text. It's not the end of the world.
I'm just going to be stuck here watching you play on your phone for that long? Are you sure he has to go that long? Can't he just go there once a week or something like that?
It's too far for him to commute and will be very expensive. We would rather save the money so we can possibly buy a house in the near future. I've told you repeatedly that I'm working on my phone, and trust me, I'm not happy with the trip either.
When he's gone, who's going to make sure you're actually working?
I don't need supervision to do my job.
You can't even work on getting pregnant while he's gone.
That's right, so don't expect to become a grandmother anytime soon.
How dare you make fun of me like that? Maybe that's why he's leaving, because you can't give him children.
He's leaving for work, nothing else. We made the decision together.
6 months without my son, and it's all your fault.
How is this my fault? I have nothing to do with this. You are becoming a little insane.
What a waste of time. I'm just going to be miserable for 6 months without him. He's going to leave me with you the whole time.
You're not the only one who will miss him and be miserable. I will miss him too. Mom, I know it's hard that James will be gone, but it's hard for me too. He's been my only support while you criticize me every day like this.
Don't call me Mom. You haven't earned that right.
I'm trying to be respectful, and I have been very patient with you.
Respect is earned, not given.
I've tried to earn your respect for 2 years. Isn't that long enough for you to consider me a daughter-in-law?
When have I ever criticized you? I just state facts. To me, you're a freeloader. That's the truth.
Your facts are just your opinions, and I have told you repeatedly that they are all not true.
Whatever. You are just with him for his money and kindness.
That's far from the truth. I've told you many times I work for my phone. It's not pocket money or games. The business is growing and profitable. I do very well with it, and I am very proud. So please understand, I am not a freeloader.
A real business. Say whatever. I don't believe it. Prove it. Show me your office and all if you really want me to believe that you do work.
I've shown you my workspace multiple times.
A desk in your bedroom isn't an office. You're just playing on your phone all day. How is that work? Stop making me repeat myself. You won't even explain what kind of work you do because you know it's all lies.
I've tried explaining multiple times.
Then explain it again. Make it make sense.
Would you actually listen this time?
I always listen. You never make sense.
You interrupt every time I try to explain.
Whatever. Besides, your biggest problem is that you can't have children. A wife who can't give me grandchildren is worthless. James should find someone else who can give him a child of his own.
I didn't marry James just to have children. And maybe I can't get pregnant because of all the stress you put me under?
So now it's my fault you can't have babies?
Stress affects fertility. That's a medical fact. If you don't believe me, go ask your friend's daughter, please.
Don't be smart with me.
The doctor specifically mentions stress as a factor, so I would appreciate if you could stop it all.
So now you're blaming me for your body's failures? Don't you dare blame this on me. You're just a useless freeloader trying to blame others for your failures.
I'm not blaming you or anyone. I'm stating facts like you do to me all the time. That is all.
The only fact is that you're useless, and the only stress in this house is from your lies and excuses.
You're the one who creates tension every day. You are always on me and never happy with anything I do.
If you were a better wife, there wouldn't be any tension.
What would make me a better wife in your eyes? What do you think I can do to make us more closer?
A real job, a baby, both, or at least one, please.
Then I'm only missing a baby. A better wife according to whose standards, by the way?
According to everybody. You don't work, you haven't given me a grandchild. What are you here for? 6 months of this. I can't take it anymore.
Maybe we should talk to James about this. I can't keep having the same conversation with you over and over again every day. Maybe we can come up with a better solution?
You leave my son out of this. He has enough stress without your complaints. I've made my decision.
What decision?
I'm sick of you, and I decided to throw all your stuff outside while you were gone. Don't come near this house again. You are not welcome here.
You did what? You threw out my things outside?
Everything that belongs to you is outside now. I feel much better.
You can't just throw my belongings out. That's illegal.
I have had enough of your lies and excuses. So now everything's outside, and you only have a little time to pick them up. It rained this morning, so it's probably all muddy now.
Wait, hold on. You threw away my laptop and equipment too?
Everything. Every single thing that belongs to you. I don't want them in my house.
Oh my gosh, no. Do you have any idea how expensive that equipment is?
If you actually had a real job, you wouldn't need all that stuff anyway. You could have everything at your office.
That equipment is my job.
Real jobs don't need fancy equipment.
How could you do something so cruel and stupid? This is completely out of line.
This is my house too. I won't live with a liar anymore.
No, it is not. It is James's house.
How dare you? I'm his mother. That means it's my house too.
Just because you are his mother doesn't mean it gives you the right to destroy my property and throw them out. They are my property.
His mother has more right than his barren wife. He would understand where I stand. I'm his mom, and he will take my side.
Being his mother doesn't give you legal rights either. You definitely crossed the line this time.
You've gotten too bold lately. Not only are you a freeloader, but you've started talking back to me. I've reached my limit living with you. I feel bad for my son, so I'm kicking you out. He's better off without you.
You still have no legal right to evict me. I live there too.
That is interesting, because I already did.
I'm calling James about this.
Go ahead. He'll agree with me once he knows the truth.
You always act on your assumptions. Why won't you ever listen to me? You should really start paying attention to those around you, too. You're too old to be this stupid.
Oh, you. See, I knew you would talk back, because all you do is lie. Everything about you is fake. James deserves someone way better. You are not good enough for my son.
You don't even know me. You never tried to.
I'm doing this for my son. He'll be better off not having to support a freeloader like you. Besides, you've gotten fat lately. I bet James doesn't even see you as a woman anymore. That's probably why you can't get pregnant.
I gained weight on purpose because I was too skinny. The doctor said being underweight can affect fertility and isn't good for the baby's development. I actually feel healthier now.
Ugh, of course there is another excuse.
It's medical advice, not an excuse.
Ha ha, liar. You got fat because you're lazy. Get out of my house, you fat, barren freeloader.
You're really serious about this. You really want me gone, huh?
Did you think I was joking? You have 1 hour to get your things.
Everything's outside and ruined now anyway. What's the point?
Good. Finally something goes right.
My expensive equipment is in the rain.
Maybe the rain will wash away your lies.
That's thousands of dollars of damage.
If you really had money, you wouldn't live here.
You'll regret this decision.
Is that a threat?
It's a warning. You don't understand what you're doing.
Understanding what? That you're finally leaving?
Fine. I'll leave then, but don't say I didn't warn you about what happens next.
What could you possibly do? Run to James crying?
You have no idea what you've just done.
What could a useless person like you do?
You'll find out soon enough, and when you find out, don't come back to me crying.
Ha! What could happen? My life will only get better without you.
You really believe that, don't you? Well then, I will leave you alone.
Of course I do. You're nothing but a burden. We don't benefit from anything from having you in our life. You can at least walk away quietly and let us live in peace with no stress. Never show your face here again, you worthless woman. We don't need you anymore.
Okay, don't forget, you chose this.
Chose what? To finally get rid of you? I waited too long. I should have done this a long time ago. I knew you were not for my son. He deserves way better than you.
No, you chose to throw away your only source of support.
I will be fine without you. James supports me anyway, and I don't need you.
Are you sure about that?
Of course I'm sure. He's my son.
Understood. I won't show my face or have anything to do with you ever again.
Good. Finally something we agree on. Yay! I am finally getting rid of you!
Remember this moment. You caused this. You wanted this.
Caused what? Freedom for James? I'm celebrating this tonight, so I'm going to go out for a bit. While I'm out, you can come collect your things if you'd like.
Just remember, you did this to yourself.
Stop with the dramatic warnings and just go!
Goodbye, Karen. You'll understand soon enough.
Is my son staying with you?
Why are you texting me? I told you to never contact me again. And yes, James lives with me.
I haven't heard from him in months. He won't answer my calls.
Maybe he doesn't want to talk to you.
That's impossible. He always calls me.
Things change when you throw someone's wife out of their house.
What? Weren't you supposed to get divorced?
When did I ever agree to divorce? You told me to leave the house, which I did. I never said anything about divorce.
He can't possibly want to stay with you.
Why? Because I'm such a worthless wife like you told me?
I wanted you to cut all ties with our family. I kicked you out for my son's sake.
Did you even tell him what you did?
He must understand I did it for him.
Sure, you had your own plan, but why would I cut ties with my husband? We still love each other.
Don't be ridiculous. My son couldn't possibly love someone like you.
Is that why he moved in with me immediately after his trip?
He did what? He is back? When?
Then why isn't he living with you? James said he's happy to be away from your house.
That's impossible.
But he hasn't been in contact with you, right?
Well, no.
6 months without calling your precious son?
I thought he'd come home. My own son abandoned me? Is that why he stopped sending me money? He used to send me money every month, but it stopped 6 months ago. I've been burning through my savings just to survive.
Missing that monthly allowance?
I can barely pay my bills anymore.
No, that has nothing to do with James. I was the one sending you money. That $1,500 monthly allowance was from me, not him.
We completely cut ties with my mother after that. According to relatives, she had quite a breakdown. She kept calling family members, crying, begging them to help her reconcile with us. But no one would help her. They all knew she'd brought this on herself by how badly she'd treated me and Sarah. That's how terrible her behavior had been. She ended up completely isolated. I heard she started working part-time jobs to pay off her debt, but she's nowhere near getting out of the hole she dug herself into. Sarah had a healthy baby, and she's managing to balance work and motherhood. It's challenging, but she says she's much happier now that her biggest source of stress is gone.